Good morning all of you. In this video lecture we are going to discuss about the PN diode biasing. So these are all the table of contents, that is the diode formation, no biased, forward biased, reverse biased, characteristic curve and reverse breakdown. In this table of contents, basically, so we are going to discuss about how to operate the diode in various biasing conditions. So based on that biasing conditions, what are the results and what are the characteristics that we are getting. Characteristics means voltage versus current characteristics of the diode. So basically, the PN diodes are manufactured with silicon and germanium materials, and in N-type semiconductor the number of electrons are high than the holes. In P-type semiconductors the number of holes are high than the electrons. Basically, what is meant by diode? A semiconductor diode, it consists of an N material region and a P material region separated by a junction. We will call that junction is a PN junction or a depletion region. In simple words, a diode conducts in one direction and doesn't conduct in other direction. That's why we are calling a diode is a unidirectional device. And this PN junction consists of two semiconductor regions of opposite type. The first one is the region on the right has free electrons, that is N-type semiconducting material. The region on the left has many number of holes, that we will call it is a P-type semiconductor. So the term diode means two electrodes, that is anode and cathode, we are placing get together. So when the intersection point of this anode and cathode, we are getting the depletion region. We will see what is how the depletion region will happen. So what is the reaction of that electron and hole ions when we are applying the bias voltage in a forward direction and we are applying the bias voltage in the reverse direction. We will see in the next slides. And the arrow marks which we are showing in the next slide, which indicates the conventional current passing through it. So this is the diagram for PN diode. So P-type material and N-type material. So we are just arranging the P-type and N-type materials together. That's why we are getting the depletion region, which is indicated in the blue color. So this is the symbol of PN diode, and that symbol it consists of two terminals. One is called anode and another one is called cathode. And the third diagram C is represents when we are doing the practically, when we are using this diode in practical applications or in practical circuits. So we are indicating whether the diode is belongs to PN diode or Zener diode with the help of that blue color strip mark. It is called arrow mark. It is called strip mark cathode. The formation of diode: as a result of recombination, a large number of positive and negative ions build up near the PN junction. Essentially, depleting region of any conduction electrons or holes term the depletion region. There are so many names for depletion region. We are calling it is a diode junction or a diode resistance region or a depletion region. We are having so many names for that depletion region. The region nearby PN junction gets charged and generate an electric field. A point is reached where the total negative charge in the depletion region repels any further diffusion of electrons into the P region and the diffusion stops. So here the diffusion means the high concentrated electrons or high concentrated atoms will move from the high concentrated area to low concentrated area. So this process of moving high concentrated area to low concentrated area is called the diffusion. In other words, the depletion region acts as a barrier to the further movement of electron across the junction. This potential difference is called the barrier potential. So this is the diagram for the when we are not applying any external voltage to the PN diode. See here the arrow mark is connected to the P-type and N-type semiconductors are connected to the 0 volts. It means that we are not applying any external voltage to your PN diode. So the process of moving of majority charge carriers from higher to lower concentration is known diffusion, and the current is called diffusion current. See, we already discussed in the first slide, that is in N-type semiconductor the number of holes are high, and P-type semiconductor the number of holes are high. So in N-type semiconductor the high concentrated ions or electrons, they are trying to move towards the P-type region, and holes are the high concentrated ions in P-type semiconductor, and they are trying to move towards the N-type semiconductor. So at the middle of this P-type and N-type semiconducting material cross-section area, the ions will be called depletion region ions, and this process of diffusing these electrons is called or holes is called diffusion, and the current forming due to this diffusion of carriers is called the diffusion current. The depletion region is formed after recombination process, in which immobile ions are surface out. Immobile ions means the ions which are present in the depletion region, that we can see in this figure. The electrons and the holes are indicated in two different colors. So where the electrons and the holes are stuck, the region is called the depletion region. So next one is biasing of diode. Basically we have two types of biasings. So one is forward bias and the second one is reverse bias. So forwarding bias means we are just connecting that P-type semiconducting material to the positive terminal of your power supply, that is DC voltage, and we are connected that P-type semiconductor to the P-type semiconductor we are connecting to the positive, and the N-type semiconducting material is we are connected to the negative terminal of your DC voltage. So then when we made a connections in this way, P-type semiconducting material is connected to positive and N-type semiconducting material is connected to negative. Then we can say that the diode is in forward condition. We are applying the voltage to the diode in forward bias. So with no external voltage applied to the diode, the depletion is available at the junction, which prevents the current to flow through it. Next, bias means that a voltage, positive or negative, is applied to a node in the circuit to offset or alter the node's voltage or the output of the circuit. As we said, so when we connected the P2 positive and N2 negative, we will call it is a forward bias. So when we made a connections in reverse, it means the P-type semiconductor is connected to negative and N-type semiconductor is connected to positive. Then you will call it is a reverse bias. So that is required to be external bias to make the current flow. So if we want to use a diode, so we should apply the DC bias voltage to your diode. Then only it will work. The current will flow through your diode. There are, as we said, there are two types of diodes on biasing, on basis of the biasing. One is forward bias and second one is reverse bias. So forward bias diode, when positive terminal of battery is connected to the P-type material and the negative terminal is connected to N-type material. You can see in this diagram, see the positive terminal is connected to positive and the negative terminal is connected to negative. We will call it is a forward bias. The negative terminal of the bias voltage source pushes the conduction band electrons in the N region towards the PN junction, while the positive terminal pushes the holes in the P region towards the terminal pushes the holes in the P region towards the PN junction. It means that we already discussed in our semiconducting physics, that is for any type of material we will have the two bands, that is valency band and conduction band. So basically at initial time all the electrons will stay in the valency band. So when we are applying the external voltage to your valence band, then the electrons will get the external energy and they will try to move towards the conduction band. So whenever the electron is in the conduction band, there the electron is not stable, so due to that electrons we are getting the current. So always remember that we are getting the current due to the electrons which are there in the conduction band, because the electrons are not stable in the conduction band. Basically this process is called absorption. So whenever we are applying the forward bias to your PN diode, then the electrons in the valency band are trying to move towards the conduction band. So after the electrons loses their energy, gained energy, they will try to return towards the valency band. So that point we discussed here. So when it overcomes the barrier potential of the valency band, the external voltage source provides the n region electrons with enough energy to prevent the depletion region and move through the junction. It means that how much amount of energy that electron required to move from the valency band to conduction band is dependent upon what is the energy gap. What is the energy gap in between the valency band and conduction band? Those things we already discussed in our semiconducting materials or semiconducting physics. So next point, in forward bias is the condition that permits current due to majority carrier through a diode. As the applied voltage increases, the depletion width decreases until a flow of majority carriers start passing through it. So whenever we are applying that external voltage, so here we mentioning that this VD in this diagram, the VD is called the external bias voltage, or we will call it as a diode voltage. Whenever we are applying, we are increasing this diode voltage, then the electrons, see here in p-type semiconductor, the holes are the majority carriers, and here we apply to the positive terminal to the external source. So this positive and holes will have the positive polarity. So due to these two positives, the holes are repelled towards the n-type material, and when we are coming to the n-type semiconductor, here the electrons are the majority carriers, and we applied the negative potential to the n-type semiconductor. So the electrons will repelled due to this negative energy, and they are trying to move towards the p-type region. So in this way, so we are getting the electrons movement towards this barrier, and they will break the barrier. They will break the potential barrier whenever we apply this sufficient energy of voltage at the bias voltage. So this current is due to this increasing the diode voltage, we are getting the current through our PN diode, and that current is called the diode current. So this is the diagram for the forward bias PN diode. Here we can see that external electric field is applied at the potential of positive and negative, that is VD, and we are getting the current from negative to current. The diode current is moving from negative to positive. So reverse bias is completely opposite to the forward bias conditions. Here we are connecting the p-type semiconducting material to the negative terminal of your applied bias voltage, and n-type semiconducting material is connected to the positive of your applied bias voltage. So when we are increasing this time when we are increasing this biasing voltage, then see all electrons are the minority carriers in p-type semiconductor. They are trying to repel due to this applied due to this negative charge which we applied at across the PN diode, and here the majority carriers are holes, and they are attracted by this negative charge, and they are trying to move towards this negative charge. In n-type semiconductor, the electrons are the majority carriers and the holes are the minority carriers. So these electrons are trying to move towards the positive potential of, or the positive supply which we are applied at the junction, that is called VD. These electrons are attracted by this positive terminal, and they are trying to move towards the positive terminal. Here the current flow due to the carriers is called IS, IS means the saturated current. Saturated current means in diode, the saturated, in reverse bias, the saturated current value is very low. It will have in microamperes, but in forward bias the diode current will be, the units for diode current is milliamperes. Always remember one point. So almost your diode will act as a or the diode will be in switch off position in reverse bias, and in forward bias the diode will be in switch on condition. So we discussed here the reverse bias is conduction that prevents the current through the diode. So the negative terminal of the voltage bias source is connected to the P region, and the positive terminal is connected to the P region. So the positive region is connected to the P region, and the negative terminal is connected to the P region, and the positive terminal is connected to the N region, and positive terminal is connected to the N region, as I mentioned here. If the external reverse bias voltage is increased to a large enough value, then reverse breakdown will occur. So minority conduction band electrons acquire enough energy from the external source to accelerate towards the positive end of the diode, colliding with atoms and knocking valence electrons into the conduction band. And here, so the conclusion for this point is, in forward bias the diode resistance is very less. It may be in ohms, means 100 ohms or 50 ohms, depend upon the how much amount of external voltage is applied. But coming to the reverse bias, the practical cases, in reverse bias the reverse diode resistance value is in mega ohm, but in theoretical we can say it is infinity, but practically we can measure it one as the value for reverse diode resistance is in mega ohms. In forward bias the diode resistance is very less, but in reverse bias the diode resistance is very high. So this graph shows the VI characteristics of the PN diode. Here, if external voltage is applied on the silicon diode, we already discussed in the first slide that we are manufacturing these PN diodes with the help of either silicon or germanium. For the external, suppose we used silicon to manufacture the diode, then the breakdown voltage is 0.7 volts. For germanium, it will be 0.3 volts. So if external voltage is applied on the silicon diode is less than 0.7 volts, then the silicon diode allows only a small electric current. However, the small electric current is considered as negligible. In forward bias, the diode, then the V by I value, the resistance, as we said, the resistance value we can calculate with the help of by taking the voltage value and current value from the graph. This value is very less, it may be in ohms. So when external voltage is applied to the silicon diode, it reaches the 0.7 volts. The PN junction starts allowing the large electric current through it. So this 0.7 volts is nothing but that the energy required to the electrons to break the junction barrier of the diode. So whenever in forward bias we applied 0.7 volts for a silicon diode, then the electrons will gain the sufficient energy to break that barrier of the junction, and the electrons are started to move from the n-type to p-type. So the free of electrons are moving, it means that the current also generated. So as this point, a small increase in voltage increases the electric current rapidly. The forward voltage at which the silicon diode starts allowing large electric is called cut-in voltage. The cut-in voltage for silicon diode is approximately 0.7 volts. If the external voltage applied to the germanium diode is less than 0.3 volts, as we discussed in last class, discussed in the last slide, the germanium diode allows only a small electric current. However, the small electric current is considered as negligible. When the external voltage applied to the germanium diode reaches 0.3 volts, the germanium diode starts allowing large electric current through it. At this point, a small increase in voltage increases the electric current rapidly. The forward voltage at which the germanium diode starts allowing large electric current is called cut-in voltage. The cut-in voltage for germanium diode is approximately 0.3 volts. It is very important point for germanium diode. In forward bias, the break-in voltage is 0.3 volts. For silicon, the break-in voltage is 0.7 volts. So it means that break-in voltage means from that point onwards the diode will start conducting. Okay. This is the mathematical approximation of the characteristics of diode, and here we are mentioning that ID means diode current is equal to Is into e power of Vd by A into Vt minus 1. Here ID is the diode current and Is is the saturation current. Is is the saturation current, V is applied bias voltage. We will see what is the parameters for this equation. And if you observe this diagram, in reverse bias, see up to certain value minus VBR, there is no current. But after reverse breakdown voltage, so we will get the reverse leakage current. This is the reverse current is nothing but a reverse saturation current due to the minority carriers. And the value of this reverse saturation current will be in the units of microamperes. See, these are all the parameters of the diode current. ID is Is into e power Vd divided by eta into Vt minus 1. Here Is is the saturation current, reverse saturation current, that is negative current. Reverse saturation current means so the current due to the minority carriers. And Vd is biased voltage, that DC biased voltage what we applied across the P and N type semiconductors, that is called biased voltage. And N is we will call it is a ideality factor. Sometimes we will call it is the efficiency of the diode. And Vt is the temperature. It's related to the temperature, that is K into room temperature, Boltzmann constant into room temperature in Kelvin. Q is nothing but the charge of the electron. Next slide. These are all the VI characteristics of the reverse biased diode. The wide depletion region of reverse biased PN junction completely blocks the majority charge carriers current. However, it allows the minority charge carriers current. The free electrons in P-type semiconductor are nothing but the minority carriers, and the holes are the minority carriers in N-type semiconductor carry the electric current. So it means that in P-type semiconductor, the reverse saturation current is due to the N-type material, due to the electrons, and in N-type semiconductor, the reverse saturation current is due to the holes, because in P-type semiconductor, electrons are the minority carriers. In N-type semiconductor, the holes are the minority current. So next, the electric current which is carried by the minority charge carriers in the PN junction diode is called the reverse current. In N-type and P-type semiconductors, very small number of minority charge carriers are present. Hence, a small voltage is applied on the diode, pushes all the minority carriers towards the junction. Thus, further increasing in external voltage does not increase the electric current. This electric current is called reverse saturation current. Okay, as we discussed. In other words, the voltage or point at which the electric current reaches its maximum level and further increases in voltage does not increase the electric current is called reverse saturation current. Hence, the reverse saturation current remains constant with the increasing in voltage. However, if the voltage applied on the diode is increased continuously, the PN junction diode reaches to a state where junction background occurs, reverse current increased rapidly. The reverse saturation current depends on the temperature. If temperature increases, the generation of minority charge carriers increases. Hence, the reverse saturation increases with increasing the temperature. Always remember in electronic devices, temperature is very important parameter, because due to the variation in the temperature, the reverse saturation current is varies rapidly, because in diode, of course, it is a unilateral device or unidirectional device. Even though due to the minority carriers, we are getting some reverse saturation current, and this reverse saturation current is the variation of this reverse saturation current value is hugely depend upon the temperature. So whenever based on this point, we can say that actually the materials we are classified into the conductors, semiconductors, and insulators basically. But all of you know that materials means they are very good. Materials are classified into conductors, semiconductor, and insulators. We all of you know that conductors are very good friendly to the flow of current, flow of electrons. In conductors, the flow of electrons are freely they will flow through the conductors. But in semiconductor, they allows the electrons in partially, and they partially block the electrons. But insulators, they never allow the electrons to flow through it. So these all are in room temperature only. These all conditions are room temperature only. If the room temperature increases, in sometimes our semiconducting materials will act as a conductors. If the room temperature is reduced up to the 0 degree Celsius or in negative Celsius temperature, then our semiconducting materials will act as insulators. So the semiconducting materials, or the characteristics of the semiconducting materials, are depend upon the room temperature. Okay, please remember this point. The characteristics of the semiconducting material is depend upon the temperature. This is the reverse saturation current. The number of minority charge carriers generated in the germanium diode is greater than the silicon diode, because the breakdown voltage is very less for germanium, that is 0.3 volts. Hence the reverse saturation current germanium diode is greater than the silicon diode. Yeah, of course, in practically, if you observe, for germanium we will get the reverse saturation current also in micro amperes. Coming to the silicon, the reverse saturation current is sometimes nanoamperes. In nanoamperes. So for this point, we can refer the Boyle State textbook for the electronic devices. In the textbook Boyle State, we will call it as a black pad or yellow pad. So they mentioned clearly when we are dealing with the PN diode experiment, and for the reverse saturation current of the silicon is nanoamperes. For germanium it is milliamperes. So the difference is due to the reverse breakdown. The voltage breakdown value for germanium is 0.3 volts. For silicon it is 0.7 volts. The voltage at which junction breakdown occurs is called the breakdown voltage. The breakdown voltage of a PN junction diode is depend upon the width of the depletion region. As we said, if the width of the depletion region increases, so we have to apply the more amount of diode voltage, that is VD, DC voltage. So because if the electron want to cross the depletion region, it has to gain the more energy from the bias voltage. The breakdown voltage of a PN junction depends on the width of the depletion region. The PN junction diodes with wide depletion regions have high breakdown voltages, whereas PN junction diodes with narrow depletion region have low breakdown voltage. Okay, I hope you all are clear regarding to this point. And next one is for germanium. If you observe germanium, we are comparing the reverse characteristics of the reverse and forward VI characteristics of the germanium and the silicon. We are getting the in forward bias, we are getting the breakdown voltage for germanium at 0.3 volts, as well as for silicon 0.7 volts. In this graph, they have shown that 0.6. It means is practically, theoretically, these points, these values are theoretically. That means for germanium, the forward voltage breakdown is 0.3, and for silicon 0.7, but practically there is a slight variations in that voltage. So if you observe the reverse voltage, we will get for silicon we are getting the very less current. For germanium we are getting much more current than compared with the silicon diode. So this is the topics about the PN diode biasing, via characteristics, and next lecture we will discuss about the applications of the diode. Thank you.